What's up guys, it's Gilo here, and today we're looking at weird customs that are still practiced today around the world. So let's just get into it.
Bruh.
In the transition between child and adult, most experience a few growing pains along the way. But these are nothing compared to what is customary for some young boys in the Amazon to go through. First, they must get bullet ants and place them in a pair of gloves. Then they put these on 20 different times, dancing as they are stung by the ants over and over again. The pain from the ants is described as 30 times worse than the sting of a bee, and each glove is swarming with them. Once they've successfully done this, they can consider themselves a man. Another extreme type of test is expected of young boys on a Vanuatuan island. They must prove their ability to conquer fear by a practice called land diving. This requires climbing a 100-foot tower of wood and jumping headfirst down to the ground, escaping certain death only because of vines tied around their ankles. In Indonesia, young people of both genders participate in a unique custom of their own to transition from wild children to being considered fully human. It requires that their canine teeth are ground down. This is done without any form of pain relief, and they are expected to sit quietly without a sound. It's believed that pointy teeth will prevent them from reaching heaven, as they'll be mistaken for wild animals. Of course, with time, children become adults, and most adults will at some point search for love. Beware if you're unlucky in this area and remain single in Denmark. In some areas, the custom is to go up to anyone unmarried on their 25th birthday and fling handfuls of cinnamon on them. If you think that's bad, just wait until you're still single at the age of 30.
So mean.
This is when you'll get covered in spicy bursts of pepper. Germany has its own strange customs in this area too.
Also, cinnamon makes you
turn 30 and
cough. You've seen that cinnamon challenge? That'd be awful.
To organ music until a girl takes pity on them and gives them a kiss. But don't think those that find love are in the clear. Once a more widespread custom but still practiced by the Tujia people of China, a woman must cry for a whole month before her wedding day. Once it's dark, she'll walk around and sob for an hour each night. After 10 days, her mother will join in and cry along. Yet 10 days after this, her grandmother will start crying too. If the bride has any sisters or aunts, you guessed it,
they must physically cry for that long?
This is meant to make the wedding day seem just that much happier by comparison. In Germany, it's customary to throw a Polterabend party a few weeks before a wedding. During this, guests show up and break a bunch of porcelain and other pottery. It's then up to the future husband and wife to clean up the mess. This can last all night, with guests continuing to smash cups, plates, and bowls after the couple has just cleaned everything up.
When there's people not in the way, just like chuck it on the floor.
The messes that life will eventually
smash all the plates.
In Scotland, there's a similarly messy custom known as the blackening. It's when the future bride and groom are surprised, tied up, and blackened. In other words, they're covered in flour, custards, dirt, or soot to become as dirty as possible. After they take a shower or two, it's believed they'll have more luck. In Greece, when a couple actually gets married, those attending will spit. They won't actually hit the bride and groom because though it looks like they're really doing it, it's really just symbolic. Making a spitting motion and sound 3 times is thought to protect against evil spirits. Though rather strange, Indonesia practices an even crazier and rather uncomfortable custom once a couple is married. The newlyweds are kept in a room for 3 days and 3 nights and not allowed to use the bathroom and guarded to ensure they don't cheat. Once this time is up, they take a bath and begin a normal married life.
I guess if you see your significant other shitting everywhere and pissing everywhere in the corner, then I think, that's true love if you stay with them. You can actually see them go through all their bodily functions through those 3 days. Yeah, I think you would probably stay with them, or you'd probably just divorce them straight away. But then it sounds like you have to always do it with every guy, and a girl, so you just get used to it.
Strange customs continue around the world in regard to pregnancy and family. In China, for example, the partner of a pregnant woman is expected to carry her over burning coals. Though painful for the one doing the carrying, it will ensure the future mother has a more pleasant and swift labor. Then, once born, cultures have a different approach to celebrating birth and providing a newborn protection. In Spain, during the festival of El Colacho, babies are placed on blankets in the street. Men dressed as red and yellow devils run around and fight pious men dressed in black. The men then jump over the babies, which is meant to keep them safe from sin and disease. Though not exactly safe, in India they take it to a whole different level of extreme. A few Hindu and Muslim parents wanting the same spiritual protection for their child will throw their babies off the top of 50-foot buildings. When all goes according to plan, the babies are caught
When
in a
all
sheet
goes according
below.
to plan. So clearly
While
it
some
doesn't
customs
always
can
go
be
to plan.
unpleasant or
That's
scary,
mental.
others can be more fun, though they can also get a bit messy. An example of this is La Tomatina, also known as the world's biggest food fight. This takes place on the last Wednesday of August in the Spanish town of Bunol. Thousands flock to this event from all around the world. However, due to limited space, only 20,000
Really
get
want to go
inside.
to this. Looks
These
so
lucky
fun.
few are given over
A massive
100
party of
tons
just
of
absolutely
overripe tomatoes
pelting
to fling
tomatoes
in
at
the
each other. It'd
streets.
be so funny.
Believe it or not,
Bloody hurt,
though
though.
just an hour, La Tomatina makes quite a mess, and it takes fire trucks to clean it up afterward.
Yeah, no
While
shit.
some believe La Tomatina began first as an escalation of a small food fight, a tomato toss during a parade, or the response to a performance by an ungifted musician, its origins are not exactly known. Its purpose, on the other hand, is. The event is meant to honor Louis Bertrand and the Virgin Mary, Bunol's patron saints. The Battle of Oranges in Italy is a custom based on a much less lighthearted event. It's meant to symbolize the myth about a horrible marquis who tried to rape a woman who instead cut off his head. After he died, the people of the town staged an uprising and stormed his castle. This revolt is what is symbolized through 3 days of citrus-based fights. It begins when one woman is picked who pretends to be the one who killed the marquis. Then 9 teams are created to represent both commoners and royalty. Dressed in their battle best, they fight in the streets of Ivrea that have been set aside as a makeshift
Well, I guess at least they made it a bit
3
lighthearted.
whole days before Fat Tuesday begins, every person,
was an
man, woman, or
awful
child, throws
act.
oranges at the opposing teams and symbolically kills them on contact. While an airborne orange doesn't sound like a threat, it's not uncommon for many
bit
to
like
develop
dodgeball,
bruises,
but with
cuts, or
oranges.
other wounds. Not as big as La
That'd be so
Tomatina,
fun.
the Battle of the Oranges is Italy's largest food fight. More than 500,000 pounds of fruit are used, and pulp covers the people and the streets.
Wow.
While many in La Tomatina and the Battle of the Oranges find themselves running from flying food, the English go a different direction.
Oh my god,
and
I've seen this. It's so funny. Yeah. People will get absolutely destroyed because the hill is so steep. It's so funny. You gotta watch this. I'll show you a clip. It's literally so steep, this hill.
He's a liar.
Custom practiced at Cooper's Hill. The Cooper Hill Cheese Roll Competition is an annual event of quite an unusual type. It requires participants to hurtle down a steep hill to catch a wheel of cheese. However, like battles with an orange, this event has its own type of hazards. Chris Anderson, a man who set a new record by scoring 22 cheeses in 14 years, recently tore his left calf during the last 2018 competition. It's no wonder people get hurt when the speed of the cheese has clocked in at 70 miles an hour. And on top of this, the competition itself is quite intense. Anderson had to race against another participant who wore something similar to a Speedo with boots to give himself the benefit of near-nude aerodynamics. But why should it be people who have all of the food-filled fun? An interesting custom in Lopburi, Thailand includes some monkeys in the mayhem. In this part of the world, the monkey is revered as a descendant of the brave Hindu deity that rescued a woman from a demon. As their reward, they receive a feast on November 25th of each year. This includes over 4,000 pounds of food
Those
and
monkeys
things
in
such as
Thailand,
watermelons,
they
pineapples, and
literally nick
bananas.
all your
Monkeys are
food.
free to nibble on these treats while
So a little
grabbing a
boy
soda
bought a
to
new
drink.
lollipop.
While
And the
some
monkey just
cultures
came and
enjoy
grabbed it
sweet
and
and
ran off.
succulent foods,
He
in
was
some
so
places
upset.
they serve something a little bit different. An example of this is hakal, a specially prepared dish served in Iceland. It's made of pieces of Greenland shark that have been left out for at least 6 months.
Oh,
The
it's
reason this is
disgusting.
necessary is because the shark has no urinary tract, so its wastes build up to toxic levels in its meat. Another potentially dangerous treat is consumed in the regions of Southeast Asia. It's made from the Panguim idul fruit with lethal amounts of hydrogen cyanide. After its shell is removed, it must be boiled and then fermented in leaves for a month. If this procedure is not properly followed, a little taste of the fruit will be your last. When someone does die, death and burial customs can be pretty strange as well. The Yanomami have a tradition where they take the body of the deceased and burn it. While there's nothing so unusual about this first step, it gets much weirder very quickly. After the body is burned, they then blacken their faces with the ash. Following this, they collect any remaining bones and turn them into a powder that they mix with bananas. This makes a kind of banana soup and everyone eats it together. To the Yanomami people, this is the only known way someone who dies can reach eternal peace. Wow. In Madagascar, they have a strange after-death custom of their own. They exhume their ancestors' remains every 5 to 7 years and replace their old clothes with new ones. Then, stranger still, those in the Marina tribe dance with the clothed corpses. By the time the day ends, they're returned back to their tomb
also they'll be like decomposing
until the
and stuff.
procedure repeats again 5 to 7 years later. Though no one has died, at the end of Carnival season, Spaniards engage in symbolic mourning. This is supposed to signal the end of festivities and the beginning of Lent. On Ash Wednesday, a procession known as the Burial of the Sardine walks through the streets, carrying a large fake fish. They walk through Madrid until they get to the burial grounds, and at this point, they bury the sardine.
So thanks for watching the video. Smash the subscribe button, click a like, and leave a comment if you have any more videos you want me to watch. Thanks very much, guys, and see you later.
They say life is great. Oh yeah, I'll take you there.